Hey, full-time movie fans. Welcome back for part two. Hope you enjoy. Let's get it. I'll say this about it right now. Um, I also was, I saw a review later on, so this is not my original idea, but I heard somebody who did a review of Love and Thunder and basically said, I think it's kind of interesting that that the Gore, who hates gods and thinks that gods don't care about people, because he was like, look, I mean, his own experience, right? Where were you? We worship you. We give our lives for you. And like, you killed my daughter. Like, here I am. Like, I'm before you. Like, I'm here to worship you. And all you can do is put me down. Like, if that's how he thinks about gods, it doesn't, the logical leap does not make sense to go, okay, well, let me go find this god of thunder and let me kidnap people from his village, because surely that'll be a way for me to get him and get him to give me what I need, which he needed Stormbreaker, right? He needed the Bifrost. So basically he's playing on something he doesn't think gods have. He's trying to play off of their care for people, their care for, when he doesn't think that gods care for people at all. This is why they all need to die, because what are they doing? People worship them and pray and all these other things, and the gods don't care. So why would he play off of that aspect of Thor caring, to get the Stormbreaker, to get the Bifrost? So that's one thing that I was like, yeah, that doesn't really make much sense. And I agree that excuse me, that that the whole kids part of the movie, I wasn't feeling that at all. I agree. I think that should have been taken out. I think it could have been replaced with Gore killing other gods and them being more like detectives trying to find this guy, trying to search him out. Like, where is he? Where is he going? Like, you know what I mean? That could have been a little bit more interesting.
Do you think that, like, because in the comics, I'm not familiar with the comics. So in the comics, was it because he was going? What was the one above? Was it the one above? No, what was the god or he was trying to reach? What was the name of him again? The one that, like,
the Living Tribunal.
The Living Tribunal. So, like, in the comics, was he pursuing to get that, and was the Bifrost the thing that was the key to open the gate?
No, that's a different thing. I think Gore just wanted to kill all the gods.
Exactly.
What he was going to do was he was gonna set off a god bomb that would just kill all the gods at once.
That would have been cool. Him coming, like, because I think the Bifrost thing, like, the relationship maybe with Thor and the Stormbreaker would have been cool, but the whole Bifrost as the key, I just thought, like, him trying to do that and him seeing as that could work. I just thought that was, I don't know. I'm just gonna say it, like, lazy writing.
Yeah.
I just really thought it was.
Yeah, I agree with the part about the kids. I don't think the kids. I could have done without them, to be honest. And like, for me, one of the smallest changes that they could have made was that, get rid of the kids and just show more of Gore. But in addition to that, now look, I know we're talking a lot about the comics. If you don't read the comics, that's fine. If you want to know more about the comics, I recommend Rob Jefferson over at Comics Explained. Shout out to Rob. And Geek Culture Explained. He has 2 channels, so go check them out. But if you're not interested in the comics and you just like enjoying watching the movies, you're not interested in the comics, that's fine too. But one thing that I thought was so good from the comics was that, like, Thor had a identity crisis when he was fighting Gore, and literally Gore was so strong it took a past Thor, the present Thor, and future Allfather Thor to defeat Gore.
That's crazy.
He had 3 Mjolnirs at his disposal to kill this guy. That's what it took.
Cool.
And he ended up, I think, even having to use the Negro sword against him too. But what I'm saying is, like, the interesting dynamic that I think would have added depth to the movie is that it really caused an identity crisis for Thor, because he really had to check himself as a god. Like, am I really, like, he does the big stuff, but, like, what about the kid who, like, looks up to Thor and is praying for him because his mom, his dad died and his mom's by herself, or blah blah blah. Like, all the small things that the people who are living their individual lives are struggling with individually. Like, in the grand scheme of the world, the universe, not a big deal. But again, that was Gore's issue. He's like, you don't care about me and my family. Like, my daughter died, my family's gone. You know what I mean? And all of that, maybe a lot of that happened because of Thanos snapping, and it threw their world into chaos. And none of the gods really did anything about it. So, but just to show, because later on down the line, what's crazy in the comics is Thor loses his ability to use Mjolnir because of Nick Fury. He whispers in his ear, at one point he says Gore was right about the gods, and he became unworthy, so he couldn't live. It affected him on such a deep level that his interaction with Gore, that he became unworthy. So like,
brutal.
I think for Thor to really struggle physically to fight Gore, like, we didn't see Thor really struggle. No. Like, if we had a moment, I think that would have changed everything, is that if we showed Gore like overpowering Thor in a way that he's never been overpowered. Yeah. And he's just like, I cannot beat this guy. Like, to Thor to say, I'm not strong enough. That would have been crazy. That would have made it feel like when Thanos shows up, it's like, oh shoot, it's about to go down. Like, you don't want to mess with this guy.
It should have been like that though.
And that's what I would have wanted to see. Now, that's just the minor. So that's the small thing I would have changed. I would have got rid of the kids. Yeah. I would have showed more Gore being, a badass and killing gods. And even overpowering Thor, maybe in one or two fights before the big one. You know what I mean? Like, I would have liked to have seen that. Now, a big change, like a huge, like maybe even plot changing thing. I think I would have liked to have seen them introduce somebody new, because here's the thing. This is what, Thor's fourth movie?
Yeah, it is his fourth movie.
His fourth movie, Chris Hemsworth, fourth movie. I mean, how much longer?
He's a great Thor.
Like, fantastic! Thor. Yes. Phenomenal Thor. How much longer is he gonna want to be playing Thor? Maybe forever, but like, how long? How many more Thor movies are we really gonna see?
He's already passing off the mantle in a way. Like, and now that they created, now that they created this huge universe, like, anybody can die, anybody can come back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could be a different universe, 616 or whatever that looks like. Anything goes. It's like a Thunderdome. Like, there's no rules, dude. Like, anything.
Well, here's another thing too, and this we'll do a session on Multiverse Madness as well. But like, some of these characters that we're seeing, like even Doctor Strange, how many more movies do they have? How many characters related to these characters do they have? Like, Doctor Strange has a great rogues gallery of villains. Thor, like, you know what I think would have been cool? Like, here's the big change. Like, if I could have just made a huge change, I really would have liked them to introduce, oh shoot, well, of course I'm blanking on his name right now.
Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray Bill.
Dude, that'd been great.
I would have liked to, you know what, and how they could have done it is introducing, like, Gore actually killed the gods from Beta Ray Bill's, planet or universe or whatever. Wherever he's from, whatever part of the universe he's from. And in that, Beta Ray Bill's gods were actually the good gods that actually did care about the people. And so because Gore killed them, it threw his world and his world into chaos by Gore killing their gods, because they were actually good gods that did care and did run things and did take care of their people.
Yeah.
And so that would cause Beta Ray Bill to lose his family. And now he's on his own revenge.
So they had the same... Dang.
So that would have introduced another strong character. And not only that, but it would have also passed on Stormbreaker, because in the comics...
Yeah, he gets...
Beta Ray Bill was worthy to pick up Mjolnir. I can't even say it right.
Mjolnir.
and they had a contest to see who would be the rightful owner. And eventually, I think Odin decided that he was just going to make his own hammer for Beta Ray Bill, and it was Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
So guess what? Now Jane Foster, Lady Thor, has Mjolnir. Thor has Stormbreaker. Beta Ray Bill shows up and he tracks down Gore, and now we have a fight because Thor can't handle Gore. Now we've got Jane Foster Thor,
and all these.
Now we have Thor. Now we have Beta Ray Bill,
and the hammers being thrown around and switched, and dude, that'd been sick.
And they're all three of them. It takes all three of them to take Gore down, And I think it would have been cool because we would get another character, Beta Ray Bill. After Jane Foster passes,
Then he
well,
gets
guess what?
Yeah.
Mjolnir goes back to Thor,
Yeah.
and Beta Ray Bill can get Stormbreaker. You know what I mean? Because
Dude.
the whole time, Thor, like even in the jokes that Taika Waititi made, Thor was kind of like, oh man, that's my boy Mjolnir. Like I need it back. And so Mjolnir would go back to Thor, Stormbreaker would go to Beta Ray Bill, and now you can use Beta Ray Bill in future movies and things like that, or maybe his own.
I don't know if he's gonna come in because now his daughter has Stormbreaker, which I mean I like that, but like I think that but think about what you just said. Like I think if we fused both of our thoughts together, like how Zeus died and then Hercules, and it was Hercules, Beta Ray Bill, Thor, and Lady Thor all against Gore the God Butcher, that would have been dope, dude.
Yeah. Like I mean, and if it took all four of them to do it, yeah.
Dude, they could have done that. They totally could have pulled that off.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about doing more than 3 just because it could get a little complicated. But I do see that. I do see that
as
Civil
War, bro.
Bible.
Like
That's true.
If they did it right, they could do it.
True. I agree with you on that. And another thing, what was I gonna say? Oh, one of the big things in the comics was Gore later on had a wife and his own son.
Oh, I didn't know
and
that.
Bro, let me tell you, Gore's wife mentioned, she was like, "Oh, you are our God." Like she looked at him as like this powerful, and she said that he was like a god, or that the people viewed him as a god, and he killed her because of that. So that's another thing. I think that would have been an interesting way to defeat, for him to have his own identity crisis, Gore as well, because
but
think about that. He hates God so much, but then when he realizes that there are people out there, maybe he liberated a planet or a universe or a galaxy of their gods, right? And they actually were bad gods that tortured the people. If he did kill the gods and it did something good, it would have been the opposite for Beta Ray Bill, but for a different group of people, when they started worshiping him as a god, then he's like, oh my gosh, I've become so powerful that I am being worshipped as a god. I do not want to be a god. I hate the gods. And that would have been an interesting way to also foil him, for him to say, I do not want this power. I do not want to be worshipped. You know what I mean? Or something to that effect. That could have been an interesting subversive way to defeat Gore, is for Gore himself to realize that now, in all the things that he's done, he is now becoming worshipped like a god. He's reaching godhood in the more that he does, the stronger he gets, the more mythological he becomes. Hey, full-time movie fans, thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you had a good time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. We want to hang out and discuss the movie with you, so don't forget to do that below. Have a good one. I hope your day is everything you dreamed it'd be and more.